Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Few more seconds. 5 more seconds. Okay, done. Okay. Most of the time, I guess able to finish the entire 12 houses. Uh, Most of the time, when you're starting the houses, try not to be more involved in it. The one trick I follow all the time is read the thing as you reading the storybooks. Don't put your brain too much. Then your eyes follow very quickly to 1, 2, 3, 4 till the 12 houses. Suppose if you have an intention to you want to mug out that and your memory, the block of the memory in your brain opens and it delays your movement of your eyes. It won't move your eyes even and it stays as one point. So think like you are seeing the cinema or reading the storybooks. Then your eye moves very, very quickly. Okay, then I'm not sure how much it is going to help you, but that's what I experienced. Okay, let's moving into our random revision. The random revision is about Tithi, the total of 15 Thithis. The entire month was divided into 15 days. First day starts with the Pratama, second is a Dvidiya, third is a Tritiya, fourth is a Chaturthi, fifth is the Panjami, sixth day is Shashti, seventh is Saptami, eighth is Ashtami, nine is Navami, 10th day is Dasami, 11th day is the Ekadasi, 12th is Dwadasi, 13th is Trayodasi, 14th is Chaturthi, 15th is Purnima. It maybe comes under Shukla Paksha or Amavasya or Amavasya in the Krishna Paksha. Okay, that's about the theory. Let's come into the Dikbala. Okay, this is the very interesting about the Dikbala. Easiest way to remember is we already know what is the Kendra 1, 4, 7, 10. So when the first house, for the first house, which graha is going to get the Dikbala? Jupiter and the Mercury. Then coming into the fourth house. Okay, what is special about the 1, 4, 7, 10 before we understand about the Dikbala? Understand why the 1, 4, 7, 10 becomes much more important than any other houses. Even the Trikona, but we are giving the importance to the Kendra houses. Why? Because the first house represents your east when the sun rises. Fourth house is just opposite, that becomes your ninth. So the fourth house is when fourth house represents exact opposite of when the sun is opposite, that is night. So which graha is available in the night? Obviously moon. So there are the one star which is very blinking brightly in the sky. We often consider that one is the Venus. We are seeing the Venus, right? So you have to remember the night when comes into the night, fourth house, it's the night one. Then the moon and the Venus comes. Seventh house, obviously, you have to blindfold and say that is for the Saturn because the sun sets in the west. Then the 10th house. 10th house is the mid-heaven, that is the noon. Which one is much more brighter when it was in the noon? Obviously, it's the sun, right? Sun and the Mars. So now when you come together all into the place, you can easily remember First house, we have to blindly remember Jupiter and the Mercury. Fourth house for the moon and the Venus, because it's a night. Seventh house, it's sunset. So obviously it is a Saturn. Why? Because the Saturn always want to go far away from the sun. And the sun was setting, the Saturn will be go forward. So that's the favorite place for me. Consider seventh house for the seventh house is the Digbala for the Saturn. 10th house, mid-heaven. Remember that mid-heaven or the moon. So obviously it is the sun and the Mars. Okay.
It is all from Lagna only, no?
Sorry?
All from Lagna only. All from Lagna only.
Obviously.
Okay.
When we're speaking about the Kendra, when we're speaking about the Trikona, you are mentioning the houses from your Lagna only.
Okay. Thank you.
If I am not specifying from your Lagna, or I am specifying something else different, I will definitely specifically mention that one. Then I will follow with the information. Okay? But when we say first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house, it's from your Lagna.
Thank you.
How you can see your Kendra? Kendra is from your Lagna. See,
yeah.
First house, fourth house, seventh, and the 10th house.
Okay.
Going into the superhero, that is the commander among the grahas is the Mars. He is the real hero. Mars is the real hero, fighter, and he have the complete courage. And Mars is also having the one more name called the Bhuja. What is the meaning of the Bhuja? It comes out of the from the earth. The Mars, the Kuja, which is birth from the earth, or the Prithvi gives the birth to the Kuja. Either way we can see. So that's why the Mangal, Puja, are mostly it was related with the Muruga or the Skanda. Okay. Obviously, the name of the Mars, the Roman god of the war is also Mars. If you search among the Roman stories, the god of the war is also called as the Mars. They'll come back in the Sanskrit name, Puja Mangal. In Tamil, we call it as a Sevai. Okay, it's Mars Day is the Tuesday. When you want to, which among the 7 weekdays, which day is more prominent with the Mars energy? That is on the Tuesday. Okay, what kind of the representation it is going to give? Mars represents any weapons, but there is also a category we don't need to get deeper into it. There are some weapons which is made up of the iron, then that's the Saturn's energy is also placed into it. So different kind of the element when you are using, when you are creating, the other grahas influence is also present, but we are not getting into that. Consider all weapons representing the Mars energy, arms, your surgery, and the defense, military, police. When you do any kind of the martial arts, it comes under the Mars. Why? Because every physical strength, whichever whatever the way when you are trying to use the physical strength, that's representation of the Mars. All this comes under the Mars domain only. Okay, mostly in how the Mars will look. It was very temperament. They are forceful and they're aggressive. They have the very much skill in the war, and even very much importantly, they don't mind to see the bloodshed. So that's why they are eligible to participate in the war. In other words, these people are very much having the good quality, I would say, ability to participate in the war. All the people are not able to participate in the war because when you say the bloodshed, these people have the courage to see that. They won't mind it. They feel like, okay, this is the war and I'm going to win it. That is the only thing they have in their mind. So when the Martian peoples, if you see, the courage is the only thing. They signifies the courage one. But there is also other side. If the Mars was in the not having a malefic aspect, obviously the Mars is the malefic planet. But when it is in malefic influence is really high, they become the villain. When considering a cinema, when the hero was having the good power, obviously in the end is also good. When the villain was having the same power, obviously the result will in the opposite way, right? Same thing goes here. when the bad people's also having the Martian energy, when they try to use into for their own benefit, they destroyed everything. They don't mind to destroy anything. They don't think about any kind of the benefit for the others or to the world. They think about themselves only, and they destroyed everything, whatever in front of them. That's a side effect of the, not side effect, when the Martian energy is high, influenced by the malefic effect. Okay. Okay. Before we getting into more deeper level into the Mars, let's see about the getting know about the Mars planet first. Okay. This is the question. Mars owns two houses. What are
Mesh and Vrishchika.
Mesha and Vrikshika, right? Mesh in the Kala Purusha, Mars is the first house, Vrikshika is the eighth house. When let's see about the two houses very quickly. Mars and the Vrikshika is the two houses owned by the Mars, but there is a difference here. The Mesha Rasi is the Agni element. The element is the Agni, but when it comes into the Vrikshika, it is also owned by the Mars, but the element is the water element. But here, this water is not the flowing water. This not is the pure water. It is a stagnant water. The water which is not be moved or which is not be is coming as a new water. It is a stagnant water. So that kind of the water is also water element which is also holding the Mars energy. Keep that in mind. Then Mars is the male Rashi, and the Vrikshika is the female Rashi. When the Mars is representing the head in the physical body, Vrikshika represents the genitals. Okay, let's come. Well, coming into this, why we need to understand this part. We have, when we want to understand the Mars, we have to understand what is the Rashi which is owned by the Mars. Okay. Okay. Now, one more question here. In which Rashi Mars is exalted?
Makara.
Makara Rasi. So obviously the opposite one, Kadaka Rasi, becomes a debilitated Rasi for the Mars. Okay, here is an important thing here. Exaltation of the Mars is the Makara Rasi, but the exaltation point is the 28 degree. What is it meaning? The 0 to 28 degree, when the Mars was when the Mars is in the Makara Rasi, considered as the, okay, let's come into the exaltation point later. We'll consider the exaltation in the Makara Rasi and the debilitation in the Kadaka Rasi. But now coming into the exaltation point. When any of the Jataka who's having the Mars exactly at the 28 degree means the Mars energy is highly for this Jataka because the exaltation is at the peak level. It was in the very deep level. So the exaltation point at the 28 degree is the auspicious one at the Makara Rasi. Okay, then here comes the question. Okay, now I have the Mars in the Makara Rasi, but in the 28 degree, 30 degree, is the exaltation speaks here? No, not that much. The exaltation won't be speaks for you. The exaltation not even considered here because when the 0 to 28 degree, the Mars was not present. You don't need to consider the Mars in an exalted position. Same goes for a
enemy's house, right?
What is it?
Because it is in enemy's house. Shani is enemy is Mars.
Saturn is not an enemy. Saturn is a neutral one.
No, Kuja is enemy for Saturn.
No,
Yes,
we're coming
yes.
into.
Yes.
Give me 2 minutes. We're coming into that part. So the exaltation point when the 28 degree, 38 degree was coming, it won't be considered the exaltation. So you don't need to consider the 29 and the 30. It's moving into the debilitation. The debilitation also here 0 to 28 degree will consider as the Mars is completely lose its energy. It's completely afflicted. You won't have this Mars significance or Mars representation or Mars energy the Jataka may not able to consume. So that becomes 0 to 28 degree when the Mars in the Karkaras. Okay, there is an exception here. When the Mars was present at 28 degree, 30 degree, the debilitation won't come into the picture. Okay, there is also one more scenario will come when your Shadbala is saying that Mars is in the good position. Mars, the Shadbala degree was for the Mars is really high. Then the debilitation is also won't speak. You don't need to consider the debilitation of the Mars in the Karkarasi if the Shadbala is high. You have to consider these 2 points. Okay. Now, let's coming into the Mula Trikona. One Mula Trikona for the Mars is the Mesha Rasi, 0 to 12 degree. So when the Mars was present in the Mesha Rasi, that was between the 0 to 12 degree, it considers very much auspicious. The Mars energy is completely into the Jataka. And there is also one more interesting thing. When the Mars was present in its own house or in its exaltation house, that too it is the first house, is considered as the Ruchaka Yoga. That we will see in the first house when we are seeing in the next list. When we are seeing in the next slide, we will have considered that one as a, we'll see that later. Okay. It's coming into Mula Trikona 0 to 12 degree. Okay, let's see about the gender. Obviously, it is a male. Mars considered as the male energy. And the aspect is the 478. Is it correct or right? Is it correct or wrong? 478. No? Yes?
Yes, correct. Chaturashtama.
Okay, then we'll go into the direction. Direction is the south. The directional strength is also south. Malefic or benefic? Malefic obvious. Adi Devata, Prithvi. Here is an important thing. If you want to observe the Mars energy, very, very simple thing. How you observe the sun's energy while standing under the sun, especially after the sunrise or before the sunset. That gives the tremendous amount of the sun's energy. The same goes for the Prithvi. When you touch the earth, when you put your if you want to get, if you are working in the garden, you no need to give the one more. There was a okay, ideas are flowing. Wait a second. If you want to get a Prithvi's energy, just walk on the ground area. That should be your feet under the sand. I mean, it should not be on the cement, or it should not be on any concrete floor, or it should not be on any kind of the ceramic floor. But you have to be walk on the sand. That's a one thing, can get the Prithvi's energy too much. So in this modern world, we really have to find a way to see the sand in one particular portion itself. Then how come I can walk? But if you are in a village, or if you have to be able to touch the sand easily, then it's a different story for you. But if you are trying to work in a garden, then you can easily get the Prithvi's energy very quick. But then you will have an answer. I don't have an I can only have the few square feet in my home. That is only having the sand area. Other than that, I don't have anything. Then the easiest one for you is make a hole, make a pit of it at least to your 2 feet getting into that, and put the sand over it. Sit for at least 10 to 20 minutes. You will definitely get the Prithvi's energy no matter what. There is also one more thing. The people will bath in the mud. They apply the mud all over the body. Then they rest for at least 30 minutes or 1 hour for a while. Then they go for a bath. That way also you can get a Prithvi's energy. Nowadays the people call it the mud therapy. But in the previous days, when our grandparents were living, they don't do anything very dramatic. They just apply the sand which were available in their own village, or which were available in their own nearby houses. They apply that sand all over the body. Then they just take the bath in the pond or in the lake nearby. That's it. They had their Prithvi energy completely. Okay, that's the way of getting the Prithvi's energy. There are the various ways you can get, which is easy for you. Try and test. Don't believe whatever I said. Try and test, which is easy for you. Okay, Pratyadi Devata is the Kshetrapal or the Skanda. In mostly I heard about this Kshetrapal in the Karnataka state. They pray to this Kshetrapal very often. Some of the homes, some of the community had kind of the tradition to pray to the Kshetrapal as the heredity as well. They would pray to one Kshetrapal for a very long time. But in southern part of the India, where which I live, most of the peoples, they love Muruga, called as the Skanda. Skanda is considered as the Pratyadi Devata for the Mars. If you want to enhance your energy, the simplest way is we have to pray to the Mars. We have to pray to the Muruga or the Skanda. Okay, it's coming into the elements. Elements is the Agni. Dosha is the Pitta. You can easily understand when you see the person in front of you, they exhibit the Pitta energy very much. Then definitely it came to know they have the wonderful Mars significance in their body. And that's why when the Pitta was high or when the Pitta was balanced, means the blood flow is very much smooth. Consider a situation, if you don't have a Pitta in a normal level, the blood flow is not that much smooth. But when the blood flow is normal and smooth, they glow like golden color. The face will bright and you can feel the tejas from it. So that comes because of the dosha pitta, it's in a balanced level. Okay, now comes into the Mars maturity age, it's at 28 years. Dhatu is the marrow, grinds is the red cells. Okay, that's about the Mars. Now let's see about the relationship. Mars friends with obviously Sun, Moon, and the Jupiter. Sun is the king, Moon is the queen, and Jupiter is the guru. It's more friendly towards them. And the neutral is the Venus and the Saturn. And the enemy is the Mercury. Then you have a question, why Mercury is the prince? Why the Mars getting towards that Mercury? Mercury is in a green color. Most of I remember like that because one of my teacher was saying that the red color is the Mars and the green color is the Mercury. They don't like the green. That's why the Mercury becomes their enemy. So whichever way you want to remember that. But Mercury is an enemy here. Any objection?
No objection. But I was telling for Saturn, Mars is enemy. That's what I was telling earlier.
Oh, Saturn, Mars is an enemy. Obviously, yeah. Yes. Okay, let's come into the nakshatra. Nakshatra 5th is the Mrigashirsha, and the 14th nakshatra is the Chitra, 23 is the Dhanishta, and the Dasha period is the 7 years. Okay. Now, with all this kind of an understanding, we're moving into the first house of the Mars. Okay, the Mars is also one more thing. And comes into the relationship, Mars represents your younger sibling, exactly your younger brother, or for a woman, it also represents your husband. Okay, let's getting into the Mars. Mars in the first house. Okay, before coming into the Mars into the first house and the second house, there are the one thing you have to clearly understand. What is that? When you want to see in the Rasi chart, what are the things you can understand? Consider you have the Jataka in your hand and you see the Mars Graha placed in any one of the 12 houses. Okay, let's consider the situation. Going to change into red color. Okay, now the Mars was in the first house here in the Mesh Rasi. So Lagna, and the Mars was here. Okay, now this is the situation. From the Rasi chart, what are the things you can able to understand? Don't worry about you have to see what is the first house will do, that we'll see that later. But when you see Mars in the first house, what are the things you have to you can understand from that? Mars is exalt.
See the
Mars.
elements of it, element also of that house,
Okay,
and whether it is in a friendly house or not.
It's a friendly house or not. Awesome. And it's the own house or not? Yes or no?
Yeah, own house or not.
Okay. Then is that in an exalted house? Is that in the debilitated house? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Any other thing I missed?
No.
Okay, then what are the things you have to see when you see the Jataka? Then you also have to understand the aspect when the Mars was aspecting which Rasi, and if any of the conjunction would happen, or any of the Graha present along with the Mars side. One or the Mars and the Mula Tribuna. Once you understand all kind of a thing from the Rasi chart. Okay, there is also one more chart you have to understand. When you see the particular Graha, that is your Bhavashalit. I hope everybody remember we discussed about the Bhavashalit one time. Okay, why we need to see the Bhavashalit? There is only one important thing that you have to consider there. Under the situation, the Mars was present. Mars was present in the first house here in the Rashi chart, but in the Bhavashalit, the same the Mars was present in the 12th house. Then what you have to understand here, you have to say the Mars was present in the 12th. It's also in the 12th house. Mars is also in the first house. Maybe it's a little bit of confusing, but what you are trying to understand is, or in the Rasi chart will tell you only Mars was present in which house. But is that extended to the previous house or is that extended to the next house? We didn't have an understanding in the Rashi chart. But in your Bhavachalya, it will clearly tell you, okay, the Mars is also present in the 12th house, or else the Mars may not be in the 12th house, but sometimes the Mars may extend towards your second house also. So that time you have to consider the 12th house Mars, first house Mars, or first house Mars and the second house Mars. At this point, I didn't confuse you, I guess. Any confusion here?
Anita,
is
you're
one-
saying that Bhava is also Navamsha Kundali? No.
No, Bhavachalya.
That's different. Okay.
Navamsa is different.
Okay.
Navamsa is your divisional chart for the ninth house.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, Bhavachalit will represent. Okay, I
Where
quickly
do
tell.
we see that actually?
If you are seeing in the Jagannath Hora, right click the Rasi chart. There you can see the Bhavachalit option.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks. Sir.
Whichever the graha, it's not only for the Mars. All the graha having the same quality in your Bhavachalit. They can able to extended here also. Consider the Mars was present here in the Rasi chart, but it's not completely in the first house, right? The Mars may also be gives extended energy to the 12th house, or the Mars can be extended to the second house. Either way only happen. It won't be happen on the three houses
Both
also.
sides. Yeah.
Only the either way. 1 or 12th consider is the Mars in the first house. It can extend its energy towards its previous house. This is one chance. Or it won't be extended to any other houses. It is only in the first house. This is the another option. Then one more chance, the Mars can be extend its house to the second house also. Okay, it was like considered you are occupying one home. Do you feel like, no, I don't like this home, I want to extend my house? Then you extend behind the area of your house, one chance. And you have an availability of your land in before you extend that also. But you have only one option. You can extend behind, you can extend in the front. Why this kind of the Bhavashalit you have to see? Because when you are seeing in the degree level 30 degree, the Mars may not be exactly in your Mesha Rasi full 30 degrees, right? But in the Rasi chart, it will exactly show that the different kind of the calculation. So that's why it will see you the Mars was present in the Mesha Rasi or Mars was present in the Rishabha Rasi. But in the Bhavashalit, it will be in a different story. Okay, the Mars is also present in the 12th house. The Mars is also present in the first house. Or Mars only present in the first house. Or Mars present in the first house, also in the second house. Okay, at this point, if you don't get it clear, don't worry. I will show you the Jagannath Hora. Give me a second. I remember I told you this on the moon lesson also. I will tell you one more time. We are switching back to the Jagannath Hora. Okay. Okay, this is a wonderful chart for the Jagannath Hora author. If you see this, when you click on the Rasi chart, you can see the Bhavcharit option, right? Everybody can see that Bhavcharit option.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Second, I go to the Rasi chakra first. I change this into Bhavcharit. So here, if you see, in the Rashi, the Rahu was present in the Kumbha, but in the in the Bhavcharit, the Rahu was present in the
Meena.
Meena Rasi.
Yeah.
So that means in the Rashi, the sun, based on the calculation, the Rasi was present in the Rahu in the Kumbha Rasi. So that point in time, what you have to understand from the Rasi chart is that in the moon house, the exaltation, debilitation point, moon or the malefic house or not, everything you have to be understand from the Rasi chart only. Chalit, you have to understand only one point. The Rasi, which is the Graha, which is in which Rasi, or it is extended its Rasi or not. That's it. Do you have any other different one? Okay, here
Even
you see.
Mars is like that. Say, Mars was in Aries and now it's also seen in Rishabha.
In Rishabha. So you have to
Same with
understand
Saturn.
in which Rasi the Mars was present. So
Yeah.
there was the
Saturn
sun.
also. Saturn also. Sun also. Like,
Yeah. So, but there was also, let me see the different one, where you can see that Rasi was present in the same
Okay.
Graha was present in the two different Rashis.
Okay.
And
Can
fine.
look up mine
But
if
fine.
you want.
I
Which one?
think Sun is in two different places. Sun.
Now it was in the changing its Rashi, right? But there
Yeah.
is also one Jataka which I saw. It was considered the sun was in ascendant. In the ascendant, it was not the sun. The sun was in the Makara Rashi. But
And
it's
now
also
you can
present.
see in ascendant. Yeah.
Now it's also present in the Dhanush also. But
Yes.
then you have to understand the Graha which is present in the Bhavchalit, which is present in that Rasi, then you have to be understand the sun should be in the second. Okay, for this chart, the sun is the Rashi, you have to consider the sun is in the second house. But Bhavchalit is saying it is in the Lagna itself. Then what you will see, it is the Jataka for the Swami Vivekananda. You can obviously understand from him, right? He grew as when you see him, he was glowing, no matter what he was glowing. So obviously the sun was in the Lagna itself. So, but you have to be careful. You don't need to consider confused about the things. Rashi and the Bhavchalit. Bhavchalit have to be used only one occasion where you have to see the Graha present in which Rashi only. Other than that, don't look into the Bhavchalit. The Bhavchalit was also giving different option. When you see about the Maranakarakasthana and other stuff, we'll see that later. But don't consider
So Vanita, for the placement of the planets, Bhava Chalit chart will overwrite the Rashi chart. Is that what you are trying to say?
No. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't get confused at one.
Okay.
The Rasi chart will give you its own house, debilitation, exaltation, everything. It will be from your Rasi chart only. You should not change that. That's what already the snapshot was taken, the calculation, the chart was formed. That is your Rasi chart. Bhavchalit, what it will tell you, the Graha, which is in the which Rasi exactly. That is, it was moved here or moved there, or it's exactly in the same Rasi. That's that's what you want to understand. Okay, in other words, what you can easily understand. Consider the sun was in the second house in the Rasi chart. Then when you're reading this chart, what you can think? Okay, the sun, Mercury, and the Venus combined together in the Saturn's house. So you may think like, having the full authority because the sun, it's in the enemy's house. Mercury and the Venus literally front towards the sun. So you feel like, okay, this is not a good one because the sun was not happy in the Saturn's house. But when you see in the Bhavchalit, you can understand the sun was not exactly present in it, but its real house was in the the energy was in the ascendant itself. So you don't need to understand about the Venus and the Mercury in the Saturn house very badly when compared when the sun was present in the Saturn's house. Suppose in case if you get more confused, you don't need to see the Bhava now. Let's see the Rasi chart fully. But this one, why I told you, you have to look into the Bhava very often for only one thing, whether the Graha which is present in which Rasi or not. But if you feel like, no, I'm overwhelmed with this kind of the stuff, and my mind was not equipped with, or my nerve system was not cooperating with that kind of information, then don't worry about that. Don't consider the Bhava.
So aspecting and exaltation, debilitation, we have to refer
Aspect,
to only
aspect.
Rashi.
Only Rashi. Only
Oh,
Rashi.
okay.
You should not see the Bhava for the aspect. Remember that one very clear. Just only one part, whether the sun was present in which Rasi, exactly that is why you are seeing the Bhava. Otherwise, which Graha exactly present in which Rasi. That's it. Otherwise, don't think about the Bhava for any other stuff. If you feel like, no, I'm really get confused and I don't like this information, skip it. It won't, when you are finally analyzing the stuff, it won't give you that much trouble. Because there are so many things you will have in your hand to reconfirm whatever you are saying. But the Bhava is a very important tool. Suppose in case if you feel whatever I'm saying, it's really confusing to you, maybe it is not the moment you have to understand this, leave it. That's okay. It's not, at this point, you may feel like this is not good. But I still recommend you to see.
So Vanita,
But
in
why
this
only
chart,
sun?
only sun is in a different place. All other planets are same as
Okay.
in Rashi chart. What
Okay,
could
I'll
be
show
the
you.
okay?
Okay, I will show you my chart. Wait a second. Okay, if you see in my Bhava, it was like this. Okay?
Ketu is moved
Ketu
down.
is and the
Rahu
Saturn
is moved.
is also
Saturn
moved.
and
Saturn is
Mars also have moved to the
But there is also some other peoples who don't
Rahu
have
also has
that.
moved.
They're exactly having the Rasi and the Bhava is the same. See some other people. But still there is change. There are some other peoples which I saw,
Saturn
they
is
didn't
changed.
have any kind of the change. Exactly, they have the Rashi, they have the Bhava, both are same. But mostly it won't
Okay.
be that much difference. They won't have that much difference.
Scientifically, do we know why this change?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, why do?
But it was really complicated to explain now. I will tell you the
Okay,
reason.
fine.
Consider when you are seeing this Bhava calculation, right? They considered there are the two ways of there are different ways. As far as I know, it was a two ways. Considered this point, maybe it may not be that much confusing, but because I'm not able to describe that very much easily, that's why I feel that it was really tough. But you don't need to understand that when you're predicting the Jataka because it was too much calculation. I'll tell you that. See, when they are doing the Bhav Chalit, there is a science behind it. They can calculate from the center part of the any of the Rashi or the wherever the Graha, which is the starting. Most of the time, it differs from the differs from the software to the software. It may be from the center point of your the center point of your Rashi or the Graha point, whichever it is taken by the software itself. So that's why when you see that the sun was present in the Karka Rasi, along with the Mercury and the Venus in your Rashi chart, but in the Bhava that was moved to here means consider the point here the 0 to 15 and the 30. When your software was describing, okay, at this point to this point, this becomes my Karka Rasi. And here, this 15 to this 15 is considered as my Mithuna Rasi. And from here, it was the Rishabha Rasi. So they considered that way. then the presence of the present of that graha will be different in a different rasis. There is a reason behind it, but maybe I'm not able to describe it fully.
It is
But there is a
based
reason.
on the angle of the lagna, actually. The time,
Yes,
like
exactly.
the angle of the lagna, and then you take 15 minutes, 15 degree before that, 15 degrees after that, and then that's how you define the first house. But if there are calculations which says all the bhavas, that's how you take the bhava. That will be the first house for you, and then the next house will be the next 30 degrees. So basically, if this person is born at 10 degrees into Mithuna, so you actually go
Beyond
15 degrees
Mithuna.
before and then 15
Okay.
degrees after. That is will become the first house for that person. So when you do that, then if for example Venus is somewhere at the edge, so at 23 degrees, so it will become next house because the house moved a little bit because of the lagna. Because the lagna is not exactly at 15 degrees. It's not dividing, exactly that Mithuna Rashi. So it is at
Because
10
it's into
degrees.
the
So you take 15 degrees behind and 10 degrees, 15 degrees forward, so that like you explained, that will be the first house. So and then the next house will be the next, which is
Point.
in this case 25 degrees of Mithuna to 25 degrees of Kataka, and so on. That's bhavasputa, it is called, the angle exactly at which it is raising, the lagna is raising. I think I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, that is clear. But then now all the aspects, but then Vanita said we
No,
never consider
aspects,
We
you
never
have to take
consider
the
that's what
Rashi
we
chart.
said. Yeah.
Aspects, debilitation, and everything. But for the houses, I think you have to take Bhavachali. First house, second house, third house, placement, the characteristics.
But then when it has got no significance, why are we talking about it?
No. It have the greatest significance. Now you may
It
not
has
be
a
able
great
to,
significance.
but that was the greatest significance. I will tell you that when we are moving on.
Okay.
For the Rashi chart, whatever the things which we are studied till now about the Mula Trigona exaltation, debilitation point, and own house and aspect, everything you have to be seen from the Rashi chart only. There is no change in it. You should not see the aspect in the Bhavachali chart. It won't give you the right answer. Okay.
Correct.
But when you see about the Bhavashalit, see whether the Graha which is extended or staying in the same Rasi as in the Rasi chart itself. That's the only thing you have to understand. Then you may ask why. Okay, you have to consider the situation in the move, like in this chart, right? I hope everybody see the Jagannath Kora, right? So from this, the moon was in the 11th house in the Rasi chart. The same for in the Bhavashalit as well. What does this meaning? The moon was exactly present in the 11th house. So whatever you are going to say for the 11th house moon will be exactly the same, definitely exactly the same. Okay, then consider the situation, the sun, which is same here. Okay, let's consider the Mercury. The Mercury in the Rasi chart would consider the Mercury, Venus, and the sun. But when you see about in the Bhavashalit, the Mercury and the Venus combined with the Ketu, so you have to give the fourth house energy. It is third house energy. Third house energy, you have to be considered the Venus, Mercury, and the Ketu because Venus, Mercury is present. But you have to see the aspect according to the Rasi chart. A little bit confused when you see the Bhavashalit along with the Rasi chart in the beginning. That's why have the simple understanding in the Bhavashalit about. But when you are getting into the Bhavashalit into your prediction, please take some time. That will give you the clear understanding. In the beginning, then you will ask me why you said about the Bhavashalit. Because your eye have to be see the Bhavashalit quite often. Then you will understand what is that giving you. So most of the time, don't go with all graha at once. When you see in the Bhavashalit, go one graha by graha, it will give you one easiest way of understanding. Okay. What is when you're trying to use the bhava chalit, most of the time, as I said earlier, when you see the Jataka, see what is the Lagna, what is the Rashi, then move your eyes into wherever there was the more grahas into the Rasi. Considered here, the more grahas was in the second house. 3 grahas was present in it. Then you have to confirm whether the 3 grahas in the second house or not. How you can confirm that? The Bhavachalita is the only answer. Then you go ahead and see, then you will understand, okay, no, the sun is the only graha present in it. Other 2 grahas move to the next house. So then when you are seeing the 3rd house here, Ketu and the Jupiter in the Rashi, then you have to confirm whether the Ketu and the Jupiter was in the 3rd house exactly. When you see in the Bhavachalita, it was saying, no, Ketu was present, but the moon and the Mercury and the Venus is moved to the 3rd house. Here you have to consider the Ketu and Ketu along with the Venus and the Mercury. Then we have to see the 4th house. In the Rasi chart, it will show you only the Mars. But you have to consider the Jupiter as well, because the Jupiter was standard, it's moved towards in the Bhavachalita 4th house. Definitely a little bit confusing in the beginning, but go slow. If it was too much confusing for you, not even see into the Bhavachalita now. Is that okay? But still it was confusing.
No, I think we
No,
are
we
clear
are
now.
okay.
We are clear, yeah.
Moving into the okay. With that of understanding, when you see the Mars in the 1st house, okay, there is an interesting point here. When the Mars in the 1st house, that too in its own house. Okay, let's see this thing. What are the houses for the Mars? Mars' own house is the Mesha and the Vrikshika. An interesting thing about the Mars is it's exalted in the Makara Rasi. Exalted in the Makara Rasi. So, okay, there was one scenario will happen when the Mars was present in the Mesha Rasi or Vrikshika Rasi. That's the 1st house. That means the Vrikshika Yoga. What is that? When the Mars, which is present in the 1st house, but along additionally one condition. It have to be its own house. Mars can be in any of the houses as a 1st house. Among the 12 houses, Mars can be present. Mars may present in any of the 12 houses, but Mars have to be present in its own house. That is also additional condition, 1st house. Okay, what is the 1st condition? It should be the 1st house, and additionally, it should be in the own house. Then that gives you the Vrikshika Yoga. That means the Mars energy was really going to give you a very great auspiciousness into your life. These people are really bravery in nature, and they don't put their courage or the bravery in any kind of a wrong way. They always put their energy, they always put their courage to correct the wrong to right, and they want to be in the righteous path. Okay, let's coming into one more scenario. There is also when the Mars was in the Makara Rasi, that means this is also Ruchika Yoga. How? But the Mars have to be the 1st, the Makara Rasi have to be the 1st house. Mars have to be present, that is exalted house. Additionally, it have to be the 1st house. So that means exalted house plus 1st house. Then that is also the Ruchika Yoga. What is the biggest benefit
I'm
for
sorry,
here?
what is that yoga you're calling? You're referring to?
Ru-
Vrittika?
Ruchaka.
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 Okay, Ruchaka. Okay.
The same yoga may also called as something. I forgot that. The same yoga may also be called in a different name. So maybe if I said that, you can easily understand. I forgot. Okay. Only the 2 conditions have to be 1st house plus own house, or 1st house or exalted house. If this thing was happen, then that Ruchaka yoga will be in your Jataka. Then what is the benefit? These people are really getting the most auspicious energy from the Mars. Okay, let's see about the Mars in the 1st house very quickly. Before that, what we have to understand, what is 1st house represents? 1st house represents your person,
Yeah.
it's the self itself. your image, your behavior, your weight, color, whatever it is, your personality, everything have to be described by the first house. Now imagine if Mars was present in it, as in your Lagna itself. Okay. Okay. Then before we are entering into the first house point, let's see what are the good houses for the Mars, what are the bad houses for the Mars. Okay. Based on, okay, this is a own house, definitely it will be good. Own house, exalted house, very good. Okay, now see about the bad houses. Which is the debilitated house? Debilitated Rasi?
Kataka.
Karka Rasi. Who's the enemy? Enemy is the Mercury, right? So this is not good, and this is not good. When Mars was present in the Mithuna, not good. When Mars was present in the Kanni, really not good. Why? This is also considerably okay, but when the Mars was present in the Kanni Rasi, not good. Why? Because the Mercury moon Mula Trikona Rasi itself and itself in the Kanni Rasi. And that too, the Mars was present in it. The Mars biggest enemy was the Mercury only. The Mars is not comfortable here. Not good house for the Mars itself. Okay. So this when comes into, okay, let's see about the good houses. When for the Guru and the Mars, it was too good because Mars, when present in the Guru's house, considered as them too energetic. Okay, I'm much because the Guru's energy and additionally the Mars courage will give you then different wisdom in his or in her life. Okay, this one was the neutral one. Which is this. Saturn in the this Kumbha, Mars in the Kumbha Rasi may not good, may not bad. Okay, because this is a neutral one. This is the neutral one. When the Mars was okay, this is an interesting. When the Mars was present in the Venus energy, Venus houses, Rishabha and the Tula, it becomes very soft. It becomes very soft. Means the Mars was really fiery, anger and temper, all kind of the five element will be stored into the Mars. But when it was in the Venus house, it becomes very softened. The energy will be much more softened comparatively with the another houses. That it was a neutral houses, the energy will become very much softened here. Okay, let's have this kind of an understanding. Let's move into the Mars in the first house.
Vanita, how about Simha?
Okay, the Simha, that was a beautiful one. Why? Because when the Mars was present in his king, when it was under the king, this place also considered the good one because it's Sun is the friend and it won't king, and commander needs his guidance from his king itself. So this is the good one. Okay, let's moving into. Okay, here. Mostly the Mars, when it was in the first house, these peoples are really bold and courageous, aggressive and adventurous. Okay, here, note this point. When the bold and courageous, aggressive and adventurous, when considered a situation, when the Mars was present in the Lagna, why I'm placing Lagna? Because it's the first house. When the Mars was present in the Mesha Rasi, definitely these peoples are bold and courageous, aggressive. The aggressive, it won't be in a wrong way. Sorry, it won't be in a all the time they are aggressive. No. When there was a need, they show their aggressiveness. See, well, consider these peoples or when the Lagna was having the Mars, these peoples are very good for army, police, or any kind of the um, fight related occupation. And because they have a tendency, their cells are that genetically their cells are designed for that. They know how to fight, they know how to form the strategy, all kind of the things in their blood itself. So that's why the bold and courageous will come. When you didn't have that Mars energy, you don't have that kind of the bold and courageous. Even your blood is not that kind of the warm. So that's why the bold and courageous when the Mars was in the first house itself. Okay, when if it was when the Lagna was aspected by the auspicious planet, it is really very good. These people definitely very much adventurous in their life. If you have a chance, when you try to see the people who went to any kind of adventures, like they touch the Everest for 15 times, they touch the Everest for 20 times. There was a time I saw one of the guide who went into the Everest for 6 to 7 times. This person was telling very first time when I went, it was like I don't know anything, so the every place was new to me. I really enjoyed. When it was going for a second time, because they're totally courageous. They don't fear about anything. When you move into the high altitude, your mind will be break into pieces, and you don't have enough courage, that much of the courage. When you are okay, forget about the Everest. You stand in any kind of the cold climate or high altitude for at least the 30 days or even for an entire year, your mind was break into pieces, and you don't have that kind of the courage. If you didn't have a Mars energy inside you, you don't have a sufficient Mars energy inside you, you can't be survived in that kind of the climate, that kind of an altitude when you are into an army or the defense layer. Okay, let's come back. Why I'm telling that guy? Because he have that kind of the blindly courage. He don't have that kind. Okay, I'm going into the high altitude. He don't have that kind of intellectual brain. You know what to do next only. That's it. And going into the Everest for the 7 times is not a joke, and it needs a tremendous of an energy. You lose everything. Why I'm saying this? Because when you're going into the high altitude, your ingrowth for your internal organs will be really high comparatively with other people's. You get very much aged quickly also. Your skin becomes very much dry, and you have a different kind of a behavior. Your mind will be goes in a goes in a different way. And you may also there is a high chance your mind becomes saturated and you become a great sannyasi also. That's a total different story. But for him, I find him a very, very bold and courageous energy. Okay, let's come back to this class again. So these people are very much bold and courageous. When the Mars was present in the Lagna, they don't mind about anything. Their courageous was in the blood itself. Okay, anger, prone, and the fury, yes, of course, because there was too much of an energy. Why? Their anger, prone, and the fury. Consider a situation. These people are very speed because the fire element was inside them. They always want to do everything and anything want to speed, and it will be finished in a moment. But consider a situation, they sit next to the Rishabha peoples. And they want to, or else the Saturn highly significant people. They want to do everything slowly, and when it was moving into a very slow and they're steady, the Martians are not able to accept that because they felt like it was too slow for them. They felt like that there was work was not done and they are not moving forward. It was not acceptable for them. They feel like very angry. That's why these people are anger, phone of fury, because when you are moving with high speed and the entire world around them was moving in a very slow fashion, they feel like, okay, this is not the best world for me, and I'm the best in this universe, and these people are not worth. They feel like that, and they allow them to anger. And okay, importantly, these people's Lagna, Mars Lagna people, there is a high chances for having an injury in the head itself. Prone for an injury, particularly in the head or the eyes. Cerebral and meningeal means there is a thin layer of the skin that is protected from your brain and the spine. You may get the severe injuries in your meningeal layer or in a cerebral layer. That means your okay, how your brain was protected with the skull, right? Your skull may also get injured. Okay, you can easily understand this is the Mars significance people or not. Definitely they have the wound or the scare on their body, or definitely in their head or in any part of their body. You can easily understand. You may see the person and you ask them why you have this kind of the scare on your face or in your hand. You may tell, no, I don't know. It happened some long time ago, but definitely you will check their Jataka. They have that Mars significance. Okay. If blood, when it comes into the when it comes into the health related, the blood disorder or any kind of the surgical interventions may happen in their life, may happen. It's not like an information is written on the screen. It may happen, but the blood disorder possibility is really too high when the Mars was aspected by or associated with the malefic planets like Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, associated or conjunctive. The blood disorders. Okay, you may ask this question. The blood disorder means what kind of the blood disorder? In the blood disorder can be very much minimal. It can be cured with the fasting or any kind of the herbal medicine, or maybe with the food. Or it can be the highest level of the blood disorders. It have to be they purify the blood every once in a month or twice in a month, kind of the diseases or health related injuries or health related problems may come when the Mars in the first house. Okay, anybody having the Mars in the first house? I should no?
No.
Okay.
Geeta, actually,
Anybody having?
I met a lady who has two sons, and their blood has to be changed every 15 days. I don't know what the disease is called, and it's very, very expensive. So I think this must be the cause. Mars in the first house. Both the children have it.
Oh, the possibly the Mars may be afflicted too much. Then the Mars can be afflicted too much means the blood disorder will come. Yeah,
Okay.
blood disorder will come.
Okay.
But this, when the Mars was in the Lagna, that too in the Mesha, Vrikshika, or the Makara Rasi, or in the Sun's house. Okay, see this soon. And I remove this, consider a situation when you have the Mars first house in the Mesha, when you have the Mars first house in the Vrikshika, or the Mars in the Sun's house, or the Mars in the Saturn's house, that is exalted house, or Mars in the Guru's house. This all really wonderful. These people will have the exact benefit about it. But when the Mars was present in the first house, consider this situation. When the Mars was present in the Mercury's house, Mithuna and the Kani, this is not in a good position. This is really bad for the Jataka. That too, it was in the Lagna. If it is not expected by any auspicious graha, all the things which is mentioned here will very much come into their life. They may be the bold and courageous, but not in a good way. He or she may be the gang leader. They not lead the virtuous life. They are definitely anger prone. They throw them. They exhibit an anger in different way. They throw the materials. They do whatever they want to exhibit their anger. You can scare definitely in their body. If it was in the Mars in the main Mithuna or in the Kanya. Okay, then there was also one more thing here. Consider a situation when the Mars in the Rishabha is the first house, or Mars in the Tula is the first house. Because of the Venus energy, this Martian will have the soft. Considered a situation, the Mars was 0 to 10 scale. This is the anger level or courageous level or boldness level. when the same Mars was present in the Venus, it can be reduced into half. They're very soft in nature. They become very soft. They may be the bold, but the boldness will be come out in a very soft, very softest way. They are courageous, but they raise the word, they raise the voice, or raise the whatever in the writing, whichever it is, it will show their softness in it. Okay, when you see the people's the Mars and the Lagna, whenever they are trying to show their anger, they try to show their anger in a different way. And you may ask a question, okay, they are anger prone, but consider a situation, the Mesha Lagna, Mars and it, and consider this guy was a reporter. And when he tried to write his any kind of an article, he put all kinds of anger words into this anger words into every paragraph. You can easily understand whoever the author is. He or she is in Mars significance is higher. So this kind of the thing, whenever you read the books, whenever you read the newspaper, you try to understand that. If you see the people who are writing the child books, they have this Mercurian and Venus quality very much. They decorate in the writings. There is a kind of a softness in the writing. It was too much childish in it. But when comes into the Martian, consider the Mars was present in the Venus. Consider the same reporter. Consider this guy is also a reporter. When the Mars in the Rishabha Rasi as a Lagna, or the Mars in Tula Rasi as a Lagna, he may be anger or she may be anger, but when he or she writing an article, it's not that much be very much anger in it. The soft words will be included. I'm telling you, one kind of an occupation. You can see it in everywhere. The people who are in artists, who draws, or the person who dance, the person who sings, wherever it is, whoever they are going, whoever they are living, they exhibit the Martian quality no matter what, but depends upon the Rashi which is present in it. See in your world, because definitely the Mars have to be present in any one of the 12 Rashis, right? See the people, how the people are reacting to. You can easily understand that. Okay. I thought to take the at least 4 houses today. I couldn't. We'll see you all next week then. Any doubts till now? Yes, no?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
we'll see the Mars in the second house from next week. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Anita.
Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.